First graders I know are loving science more than I've ever seen. I feel like they are really getting engaged, hands-on. They like getting to play with the different materials, and just kind of the notebooking piece, they get to take ownership for their learning, which is really great.
I like using flashlights to bounce off mirrors and science.
I like science because I like the formation of it, like rain turning into clouds.
I feel like it's easy to navigate, and although it takes a lot of time, it's definitely worth it.
Between Pearson last year in science and in FOSS this year was that the depth of vocabulary and enhancing that and linking that to science is a lot more accessible to students. They understand what the words are.
I like to do experiments.
My favorite thing in science is discovering different types of rocks and finding out all their properties. My least favorite thing is dropping rocks in liquid, because depending on how big they are and how fast the current is, it will weather and sometimes pieces of rock will come off.
I do think the payoff is well worth all the work. The online portion of FOSS is really useful for us. There are different ways that the students, my students have practiced measuring and experimenting with volume, and it's kind of a hands-on way to use technology. They've accessed videos to help them with their learning, and I'm learning more about online assessments too to help myself maybe make grading a little bit easier.
This year science is really cool because we have all those balances and grams, and last year we didn't have it and we just kept butterflies in a cage. I think the coolest experiment that we did was with the water when we dropped it down a slide and then it just started zooming everywhere.
I also found it challenging reading through the teacher manual. For some reason the format just was different and new to me, so that took an adjustment period, but now I really like how they have great background info for teachers and the lessons are really laid out clearly.
One thing I really love about the FOSS program is that on their website they have downloadable presentations that you can project on the screen while you're teaching the lesson.
Okay, so one thing I like about science is how we learn about energy. Since my dad fixes technology, it kind of feels really good to learn how like all the wires and light bulbs and motors go together.
I like all the fun observations we do, like right now we are doing how energy is transferred.
This year I've had a lot more parents tell me at conferences how much their students love science, and the kids just really enjoy all the activities and the hands-on experiments that they get to do. So I see a lot more student engagement compared to last year.
The kids love the investigations. It starts with a question that they think about and wonder about, and then they explore it, and lots of times they're surprised by what they find. So it's very fun.
In science, we've been doing things with the sun, and we've had many experiments with it. For example, one experiment was we put a little figure, or a Lego figure, on the table, And we took a flashlight and we pulled the flashlight slowly around the figure so we could see the phases of the sun and the shadows at certain times of day.
My favorite thing in science this year is this one time we took these tubes and we measured volume. And we took different mixtures and Mr. Lorenzo dyed them. So what we would do, we would take these, I forgot what they're called, but you would squeeze the end and then it would suck up a little bit. Then you would push them into these tubes and then you would see which colors would come up on top or if they were mixed. And you didn't want them to mix because you wanted the lightest to hardest. And from what I can remember, it was yellow, green, red, and then blue. And blue was the strongest, which is why it was on top.
Science this year has been a blast to teach because it's so hands-on and the students experience the concept before they read about it.